is very important of what we are doing and why we are doing, right? Just to paraphrase what, on a different point, what Ravi was saying, what I found is networking without purpose is also useless often, right? So you network with a purpose of what it is that you want to achieve. And that's when you will get, both sticky audiences and results.
Absolutely, Prashant. Thank you. Gautam?
Yes, sir. So the second question that I want to ask you is based on accountability in AI. So in domains like healthcare or recruitment where AI can impact lives, how do you approach leadership accountability when some harm occurs? So especially it's a field where it's hard to pinpoint where the fault lies, whether it is with the developer, algorithm, or the organization.
Yeah, so I think there are more dramatic consequences in healthcare in autonomous cars, right? So, and that example has been, just to sort of state that again for easy understanding, right? So, if an autonomously driven car crashes or has an accident with a car which is driven by a human, right? Whose insurance liability is it, right? Or two autonomous cars crash and both the humans who are sitting there are injured. What happens, right? So, this is a complicated question. It's not a simple question, right? So obviously there are challenges. So what you can do is two things, right? So how do you have a framework? Like how do you make AI trustworthy? And therefore, how do you have a framework? And some of those basic principles apply, right? So making sure it's transparent, it's explainable, it is unbiased, so fair and impartial, and you have a clear accountability. There is security of the data, and so on and so forth. So the basic, what we do for any whenever we use any algorithm, right? The other check that we typically do, the second, is the guardrails and the monitoring that you approach, right? So for example, the classic problems that occur even in simpler problems, forget about this level of problems, but for example, credit cards continuously being denied to a particular race or a particular group of people, and therefore that can have legal implications, and so on. Healthcare, significant, right? If you tell someone you have cancer when they don't have, or you tell someone they don't have cancer when actually they do have, that's a train smash, right? So either way. So the third thing that we do is like ensure that wherever these kind of risks are involved, you have a human in the loop. Don't make it an autonomous system, right? So there is an expert who needs to sort of certify, right? So robustness, the first is make AI trustworthy, transparency, fairness, robustness of the data which goes into training, etc., etc. All right. The second is to have monitor these, right? So our accuracy is going down, which way is it going? How many are false positives are coming up, depending on the type of algorithm and what you do, right? And the third is to basically not, AI is not, so as it's AI working with humans, it's not a replacement entirely.
Perfect. Thank you, Prashant. Vanishri?
Yes, sir. For students who may not see themselves as classical tech people, what should their mindset be? And in the role of innovation, where do you see students who are more into diverse thinking and unconventional thinkers?
Okay. So look, I mean, the best and the greatest achievers in the world have been often unconventional thinkers, right? Like, let's say Steve Jobs or whoever else that you want to think of, even in the business world, forget about the rest of the world, right? So, when they're coming into AI, see, obviously, as we go into AI, what makes AI more robust is also reducing bias, which involves getting multiple points of view. When you form hypotheses, when you sort of ideate and think through what it is that the problem that can be solved, right? So that is and people who bring out of the box will make all the difference to people who don't think out of the box will follow up. So it's the sort of the difference between management and leadership, as they say, right? So just managers do things right and leaders do the right things. So you need some level of out of the box thinking to basically differentiate from what everyone else is doing, both inside and externally, global, right? So there are 20 companies doing the same solution. Like, what is it that differentiates one company from the other? it can't all be just that the market for talent is also fundamentally largely similar, right? It's not that so essentially out of the box thinking that way is very critical. I have a particular bias towards original thinking, right? So when we take a problem, one of the things that I believe, like in our education system, we start to lose is original thinking. Like, what are we thinking that has not been thought of before, right? I mean, and on first principles, and that has really helped me in my own life, right? So because there is a lot of times you do things that you've never done before, right? So I went into a startup, uh, you know, at the age of 27, when I had no idea what needed to be done, and that was a product we were building. I got into consulting. I didn't know what really that was about. Now, over time, I lead a very large team, nearly 6,000 people, and I haven't, so that was never something that I've done before, right? And you have to evolve as a professional into how do you sort of uh, think from first principles, right? These are not always obvious. You can't follow up. You can follow that, but you will not. I mean, so like they say, right? You do this. You can't do the same thing and expect different results, right? So if you want different results, you need to think and do differently, right? But you can't do that in a way that will detract from the goals and what needs to be achieved, right? Eventually, this needs to be a business that needs to run as well. So important to have out of the box thinking, but within a framework, so that it's you continue to on the achievement path while you have these ideas which will contribute to it rather than detract.
Absolutely, Prashant. Thank you. See, on the fly, I was thinking something is missing in this series. I got segment 1 where I asked you questions. Segment 2, they asked you questions. But I felt segment 3 has to be there where you ask them questions. So please feel free if you want to ask any question to Soham, Gautam, or Manish.
Well, so how do you guys see this whole now the whole Gen AI particularly that has come? Has it made any difference in how you go through your course, what you do, how much of it is practical of what you do, right? I mean, where you try and solve real world problems, and how much is the whole evolution of AI and Gen AI into this field actually helping you or not helping you, if I may
Good.
ask?
Anyone? Soham?
Vanish, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I have seen both when I've started my engineering without any AI support and now with everything I have in access. In the very first year, I didn't have so much access to AI and stuff. Now I reach for it because it's easier, it's convenient, and I have easy access to all the things I need, not running to textbooks for each and everything. It's very comfortable. And at the same time, I also understand there are very laid back things also say. Uh, so I need to cross check with things, but it's very comfortable to say.
So personally, what I feel is that AI has allowed our generation to learn anything we want instantly. So because of that, it's more about what you said. You have to have directed thinking. You have to know what you want to learn. It's not how many problems you solved anymore. It's what problems you want to solve and how you want to try to solve them. And because of that, it's sometimes overwhelming every day that there's this new model that we can try out or this new technology that we can use, but that's just the field, right? So it's also very exciting. And I feel that the current Gen AI boom, it might subside slightly because, as you said, the ROI doesn't always make sense, especially for the consumer use cases right now. We can see with OpenAI, it's not able to scale that well. But let's see what happens. You never know.
No, but with agentic, I think some of there might be some interesting value
Definitely.
that might derive. Okay. So if I may ask another question, Ravi, see one
Go ahead.
very thing that I want to. So not in this, but in life, and what excites you? What will keep you motivated to sort of do something for the next 3 to 5 years?
Could you repeat the question?
What are you looking forward to? What are you excited about? What motivates you to sort of, let's say, professionally do something for the next 3 to 5 years?
So I believe that we live in a country which is very fastly, like, no longer a third world country. We're seeing with the rise and fall of other superpowers what we can do. And I believe that it's very possible in our country to make an impact. Just the way that people used to say that America is the land of the dreamers, India is now the land of the dreamers. So I want to be a part of that movement over the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. What about, if I can request Gautam, Manashi, both of you also to chip in?
So I personally feel like we have a lot of opportunities nowadays, and as Soham has mentioned that now in our country, so I know that it's in fashion nowadays that people sort of denigrate the country and sort of leave the country for better opportunities abroad. But if all the people in this country who were allowed to quit the country, I think I would like to stay because I feel like it's part of a big experiment, and I would like to be a part of it. That's what I feel.
Okay.
Vanashri, yeah?
So I am a person who is open to things. I'm no like I like to go with the flow, and I'm really looking forward to what I have an opportunity to do. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Back to you, Ravi.
Hey, thank you so much. I think it's kind of experimental if you really look at it. Okay, we do have some fixed questions that we ask, but I think the last 5-10 minutes was really good and fantastic answers by these guys. Really excellent, guys. I'm very impressed. So thanks so much for all of you. This first episode again. I keep learning. Each episode is different. Each leader is different. So, and I can see a lot of the kind of words which you use again, Prashanth. First principles is something which Pankaj uses every other sentence. I think you guys so integrated together. I think best friends.
Let me give you a disclaimer. I meet him like 2-3 times in a year.
I know. I think the jugaad is so much key. The language also is the same. Sometimes I feel I'm speaking with Pankaj really.
Yeah, we're not getting it from the same source, that I can tell you.
Absolutely. So we did have a look at scaling AI from vision to value. One of the themes, leadership mindsets in tech transformation, staying purposeful amid rapid innovation, and the college students Soham, Gautam, and Banishri had questions around career, industry perspective, inclusion, and ethical leadership, and purpose and personal alignment. I think the last one again, on the fly segment 3 will be the normal feature from the next one, where the guest actually can ask questions to the kids as well. So thanks a lot, each and everyone. Prashanth, thanks a lot for your time. Vanashri, Gautam, and Soham, thanks for your patience. And you guys are, flying already, guys, and very, very impressed with you guys. Thanks so much. And I think we'll have an interesting guest again for the next one. And we'll have again 3 different universities and 3 different kids coming across. So yeah, any concluding comments? Anyone, Prashanth, and anyone.
Thanks so much, Ravi, for this, and all the best, Banashri, Gautam, Soham, to you.